old friend of mine, very popular talk show host, podcaster, you name it. Find him on X right there at Anthony Cumia, C-U-M-I-A. Are we going to win? He said, yeah, but it's going to be a lot rougher than people think. And that's 100% true. The awakening's here. It's all over the world. It's amazing. But the left is counter-striking with everything they've got. With the shutdown, with Mondami, with the red-green communist Islamic alliance. And so it's ours to lose. We've got to be very, very serious about this. So finishing up with Mondami and then to the shutdown and then to Trump and all the wars. And since you mentioned Fuentes, I want to play a clip of him and some of the things he's saying. And there's Fisher that I think the kind of neocon Zionists are pushing even harder than him. But just finishing up on Mondami, once you said it, I hadn't thought of that. It's totally clear. Of course, they always dangle free stuff. They don't give it to you. But yeah, then he says, oh, I've got to be the governor, and then I'll actually give it to you. That is like prophecy. I predict that's true.
Yeah, I mean, every one of these guys that we've seen come over, and especially the Islamists, it's just the foothold they want, that initial foothold, and then they just work their way up. They make an enclave, and they take advantage of it. The greatest part about this country is the separate states' rights. Because when I looked around, New York wasn't the New York I grew up in. And it became, especially after COVID, the New York I did not want to remain in. I didn't want to live there anymore. I think they prey on the fact that people don't like change. We don't want to move. We don't want to pick all our stuff up. Our friends and family are there. If you got kids, it's even harder. There's different schools. But that is the sacrifice you need to make to enjoy what this country has to offer. Go to a state that is more conducive to what you want your America to be. So I was very unhappy with my taxes, the fact that I couldn't protect myself with the best tools available to me, a firearm on me at all times in New York isn't allowed. And then to top it off, they have a law enforcement and a judicial system that caters to the criminals. So you look around and go, well, I don't have to stay here. I can leave. And thank God in 2022, whenever I left, the technology was available to do my show from down here. So I left. And like I said, I couldn't be happier. And I think a lot of people, especially in cities like New York, LA, Chicago, they are doing the same thing. I think they are sadly mistaken if they believe that these millionaires and billionaires are just going to sit and take it and pay for all of these programs that not only do they not agree with, they think are absolutely insane.
Well, I've also seen a bunch of clips of people just interviewing the crazy Mondami supporters, including staff members. They're like, we have hope. We don't know how it works. We're just going to do it. But others go, no, if the billionaires and millionaires leave, we'll just tax the middle class. Well, who do they think those people are? So it's total insanity. So here's the larger question. If you pull back, how do we respond to Mondami? How do we respond to their lies? Because as populists or conservatives, we're awake, but their constituents are so dumb. Is there any hope even trying to talk to them?
That's a tough one because, yeah, like you said, they don't even know what they're voting for. You listen to those interviews, and yeah, literally, and I don't use the term literally lightly. Literally, they say things like, well, he'll find the money. I heard that today. He'll find the money. He'll figure it out. You voted for this guy.
Well, they use the word hope. We don't know, but we hope he finds it. We hope.
We hope he finds it. Here's what we do with Mamdani. And it's kind of the same thing we did with David Dinkins when he was mayor. Not for the same reasons, but look, he was elected by the people. Let him do what he's going to do. And what happened after New York? Giuliani came in to clean that mess up. And I think New York's too far gone now. And I don't even think Mamdani can screw up enough for liberals, Democrats, women to say, well, he's bad. We made a mistake. We should vote someone else in 4 years. So I don't know, but the best thing you could do with a liberal, and especially a liberal politician, is let them do what they're going to do and call them out at every turn. Call them out for the nonsense and lies.
No, I agree. So look into your crystal ball. Minneapolis, Portland, New York. Does it become a John Carpenter movie where it just becomes a walled-off city of hell, and then we have a national divorce? I mean, how do we do that? Trump saying he's going to cut. New York is 3 times the funding, federal funding, as Florida. Trump can just cut that off and head this off at the pass. What happens on the current course to New York?
Yeah, New York is absolutely different. It's so much different than Minneapolis and Portland and other things. And it's been this supposed melting pot for so long of diversity. So I think it's camouflaged more. I think you can camouflage some of the nonsense that the politicians have brought to New York City for quite some time. But eventually, especially with an Islamist in there, a communist, somebody who does not appreciate American values. As a matter of fact, he detests them. This is a whole new ball of wax here. So this might be that final nail in New York's coffin. I don't want to sound too pessimistic about it. We've had some really garbage mayors, and we've had some great ones, and New York has suffered or done well with either. So we'll see. That's a hard one to predict. You could look at Minneapolis and go, oh, yeah, that's screwed. That is just screwed. There's no turning back. Dearborn, Michigan, a place in Detroit. I mean, that was a city of the American dream.
It's not the classic American iconic center of business. They literally have seized our second capital. Well, here's Mondami surges ahead of Schumer, risks finding himself left behind. And I agree that this is the new party. And Mondami said it's a new political order. But what does that spell for the Democrats at large? They may be able to seize a few cities and hold it, but they're committing political suicide.
Yeah, I think after he's sworn in January, how he does in New York is going to be a huge reflection on the Democrats going into the midterms. I think a magnifying glass is going to be on New York City to see how this guy's doing. And will people want to gravitate toward more of these extreme Democrats or liberals or democratic socialists? Or will it be something where we look and go, oh, boy, you want to steer as far away from these people as possible? So I think it's going to be the latter of the two. But we'll see. We'll see how poorly he performs.
Well, there is a great awakening, a populist awakening. The fourth turning's here. And so people that weren't awake before kind of, grope around the dark and go to different, not even extremes, but just people that promise things that are impossible. Now we know the left are disingenuous. Take Nick Fuentes. I've known him 9 years, and I don't think that he's a person that, is a bad actor, that he means bad. He's standing up for what he believes in, been saying the same thing for 10 years. But he's come out, and I'll play a clip of him, and declared victory and said, we're going to take over the Republican Party now. But still his main fight is with Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin, who are pretending like they're just neocons, Dick Cheney acolytes, that they are the party. So it's like, oh, well, you're the party, so I'll agree to have a fight with you. That's a lie within a lie. They're not. It's about issues: secure the border, secure the dollar, stop the wars, get industry brought back in, all of that. So I see the left is only obsessed with Israel and Gaza. Sure, cover it some, but not. That's all they know. And it seems like so much of what you call the new right. And then I see the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, Atlantic, all of them going, oh, great, Nick Fuentes is driving a wedge in. I think it's good to stop foreign entanglement. I think it's good to exercise foreign influences, whether it's Israel or anybody else. But at the same time, I'm more interested in the 35,000-foot view about what this leads to, where this goes, and why the left is salivating over this, and why they think it's such a key thing. And then what your advice, everybody, would be. Here's Nick Fuentes. I've got the actual quote here. We'll actually hear it from him. But he is saying, we've won, we've taken over, and to me, it's just very frustrating. I know there's 2 clips. I gave you a shorter one. I want clip 2 from yesterday. It's longer, okay? So I want to go to clip 2. Sorry, I got so much here. No, I want to go to, God, I got too much stuff here today. Now, I'm going to go to clip 2 from yesterday. Nick Fuentes rant, America first is inevitable. That's the clip I want to play. Here it is.
Greatness means that we will become the #1 superpower ever in history, and we will dominate the world. That's what it meant to be great as America. What does greatness mean to you? That we shrivel up like the libertarians want us to, and we don't tell anybody what to do, and we sit at the United Nations with our hands folded in our lap, and we get lectured by communist third worldists? Okay, now it's Africa's turn to speak. Oh, we need more. I can't do an African accent. They're gonna get out there and say, we need more money, man. We need more foreign aid and shit. And we're gonna say, okay. Like, no, we're not gonna take our place among the nations and get bossed around and told what to do and listen to everyone speak and be constrained by international law. That's gay. Whether we like it or not, we are an empire. We don't want the Jews telling us what to do. We don't want China telling us what to do. We don't want any country, any people, any religion to stand in our way. Hey, man, we just want to be a republic and not bother anybody. Who are we to tell Venezuela?
All right, so that's his point on imperialism. We'll get Anthony Cumia's take on that, but here's the clip I wanted. Nick Fuentes takes a victory lap and lays out what's next. Now listen to this. This is what Nick is thinking is going on here. I think there's a lot more going on. Here it is.
This is advanced. This is the next stage. Congratulations, guys. We have penetrated the outer wall. The outer wall has crumbled. As the Atlantic said, the firewall has crumbled. We have broken through the gates. Groyper legionaries have stormed the first wall. And now the pro-Israel side, the conservatives, have retreated behind the next layer, behind the second wall in their concentric circles, in their tiered city. We did it. We won the argument. We beat censorship. We beat cancel culture. Our ideas are mainstream. We won the debate. We won the hearts and minds of millions of young men, and they're everywhere. 30 to 40% of the White House are Groypers. You lost. Will Chamberlain, Shapiro, Mark Levin, you lost. You lost the conversation. We won. And now we're taking it to the next level. We graduated. Congratulations, everybody. We won. And we have now graduated to phase 2. Phase 1, I had to be the human battering ram and blow the door open with the flashbangs and everything. I had to entry so that everybody else can come in. I had to break the taboo. I had to break the cancel culture, the censorship. I had to break the spell that you could still be popular being called an anti-Semite, a bigot, a Nazi. And I had to do what I had to do to achieve that. We had to make the arguments, persuade everybody. We did that. We accomplished that. Now what? I'll tell you now what. What happens next? Now that we're inside the building, now we got to lock this shit down. Okay, we're in. Groypers have broken through the front lines. We've exploited the gaps. We've infiltrated. We've penetrated. What do we do now? I'll tell you what we do. Get those positions. We are now jockeying for the most important positions everywhere where it counts. That's the name of the game. People say where, what, everywhere where it counts. So those positions at UCLA, those limited numbers of seats, their student body, that's where it counts. Harvard, Yale, Princeton, George Mason, George Washington, UVA universities, Georgetown, that's where it counts. College Republicans, young Republicans, Turning Point USA, that's where it counts.
All right, Anthony's going to leave it about 10 minutes, so when I post this on X and Rumble later, I'll put the full thing in, but he says, like the left did, we won't say who we are, we'll infiltrate everything, we'll do this. Now obviously, Nick's had a big effect, and I'm not taking away from that or his views, but this is a larger global awakening. It's a fourth turning. You see the left and Islam waking up and taking over. This is a radicalization period. And I don't think the fight of the Republican Party should be about Zionists versus Groypers. It doesn't mean that's not a fight and we shouldn't, have foreign interest or whatever. But there's a lot of other things going on here. And I don't know about secretly infiltrating institutions like the left does. I think we were promoting freedom. We do it out in the open. And I'm not trying to attack anybody here. I'm trying to have a larger discussion about the censorship culture, the bad things Israel's done, and things people can criticize. That's all come as a crest. And I think from his analysis to say the Groypers have done this, and now we're going to do this, I don't want to say it's illusions of grandeur. I'm not even putting it down. Thinking big is good. I'm just saying there's a lot of other big forces here. And I know Nick's smart that he should think second, third, fourth order consequence from about how incendiary this culture is. Because we don't want to get a French Revolution on our hands. Anthony Cumia, you just saw that clip. What do you make of that? Because all over the corporate media and in Israel, everybody, they're panicking like Nick Fuentes is, literally the reincarnation of Hitler. They're saying Tucker's Hitler, and he's, not even politically close to Nick.
Everyone's Hitler.
Yeah. So, baby, what do you make of what you just saw?
Yeah. Well, Nick's a very smart guy. He's charismatic, and he is a young guy. He appeals to young men, and I think his only, and it's not even a fault, but he's a funny guy. Nick is a very funny guy. He does a show, and he's very up to date on everything that's going on politically. But he's also a young, funny guy, and we all know what that's like. So they're using that against him. I think Nick makes so many great points when he speaks, but all they're going to show is when he's dropping N-bombs and talking about Jews in a way that isn't speaking about it in real world terms. It's just kind of guys knocking stuff around, having some fun. But that's who they'll present Nick as. They do not want to present him as a very knowledgeable guy. And a lot of the stuff he does talk about, if you are an America First guy, you're going to agree with that. And I think the whole world, as you've said, and especially here in our country, things are changing. And it's coinciding with what Nick talks about. I don't think Nick is responsible for it per se. Partially, I think he's been in the news a lot. I think he has taken a lot of the brunt of what goes on because of what he said. But I think the whole change is a combination of a lot of things. And people are just tired of having to walk on eggshells around a lot of different racial groups, religious groups.
Exactly. People are done with political correctness. And I'm not taking credit away from Nick. He's done a lot and broke through.
He's amazing.
I'm just saying the left is trying to make him the reason it happened right now and act like he's good in ways. That creeps me out. What do you think the trap is there?
Well, we saw what happened with Charlie Kirk. I mean, they didn't like what he was saying, and they eliminated him. I mean, there was an assassination attempt on Nick about a year or more
January,
ago.
yeah, about 10 months ago, 11 months ago.
Yeah, and it's frightening that they'll put someone up there as that's the guy. This is the guy that's starting this. He's
I've been there. I mean, I was there when Trump got elected 8 years ago. That's what I've told Nick Proudly on air. I would say, listen, be careful. And I know it's fun to be an edgelord and you're just doing comedy and satire, but I'm saying you're in a position of power now. They've set you up as the devil. So just remember, they want to kill you. In fact, I told him a month before Charlie got killed, I said, I think people like you and Charlie Kirk are the main targets.
Yeah, here's the guy trying to shoot him. He's got his gun. He's got a crossbow. Yeah, so the left or the powers that be, whatever you want to call them, they see him as the figurehead they could put up there and say he's the bad guy, he's the reason, and then the mental patients will act accordingly, and it's a dangerous thing. But I think Nick is a part of what is going on. We're tired of being chastised and told we can't be pro-America, pro-Christian. And a lot of Americans are tired of having to tiptoe. We've tiptoed too long. We've been canceled. So
what does the left do now that they know the spell is broken?
I think they're still working on a plan, but like I said, holding certain people up as the bad guy it seems to be what they're doing. Tucker interviewing Nick was a huge thing because Tucker is looked at as a big name and he gets a lot of viewers. And these aren't people hate watching him. They're not people like, oh, like you watch MSNBC or CNN to go, shut up, I hate you. People are watching because they agree and they're pissed and they want their voices heard through people like Nick.
Well,
and,
exactly. And I engineered the interview, only say this is true, trying to not have a right-wing fissure, and then the Zionists came in and created a bigger one with the interview. So it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Anything that happens, anything that's done, whether it's an interview, legislation, a vibe, it has to be knocked down by the left. That's their mission. So we could look at what we're doing and see it as advancing and doing very well. And they will just try to knock it down. And again, since they have the power of the media and whatnot, it's very hard to not believe that they're succeeding. But when you take a look at the bigger picture, you do realize that, look, real Americans, true Americans that believe in this country for what it was built for, and we are tired of it. And we want not to go back in time. We just want the basic ideals and institutions that we hold dear to be there for
and
the
that's
American
the key,
people,
Anthony
for
Cumia.
future generations.
We're the flower of the Renaissance. America's the latest, best idea that worked. We're back to the future. We're not going back to feudalism or any of this. America is the cutting edge. We want to go back to the badass thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you look back and obviously, look, technology has made this country very different from what it was. There's no turning the clock back. When we say make America great again, it doesn't mean going back to a different time. It's make it that great place, the great
like you're 70 years old and can't get a hard on and you get Viagra, you get a hard on again. It doesn't mean you're going back to 20. You just get a hard on again.
Right, exactly, Alex. You know, when I'm at a loss for words, I can always depend on Alex Jones to help me out.
Hey, you got to come back more often. I want to come on your show. I know in the old days I was too drunk to come on. I never hardly drink anymore. But, hey, you're looking great. We really appreciate your kicking ass. How do people find your different shows? I know you got to do a bunch of them.
I got to tell you, and this is proof positive that things are changing. I was hired. I wasn't even looking for a gig, Alex, and I was hired by the #1 talk radio station in the country, WABC, 77 WABC, New York. So things got to be changing, or they're crazy over there.
Well, they're just back to,
ABC.
This guy's had a #1 show before. How about we actually put #1 shows on?
Hey, what a unique idea. Yeah, so Sunday night,
Let's
8
put
to
a race
11
car
for the
driver
time being.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, 77 WABC, 8 to 11 p.m. Eastern time, Sunday nights. And then I have my show on Censored.tv, 4:30 to 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday. My X account, Anthony Cumia, very easy, it's my name. And Compound Media on YouTube. A lot of videos, new ones go up every day. And I got to tell you, Alex, I appreciate the hell out of you, what you've done, the sacrifices you've made for what we're seeing now. Finally,
well, I appreciate you. Well, they're getting ready to shut us down the next month. They tried hard, but it's finally here. So we launched a new thing. Get me on to help boost me because they're trying to take me down. Anthony Cumia, great job. Talk to you soon.